your tools. So here's our set of that T30-8 set. Now all your radiuses should be pretty close to each other, as well as all your lengths. So if we look here, like all our lengths are pretty close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All our metals are pretty dang close. Our polishers are about the same too. The polishers are a little bit different, but everything should kind of make sense. If I look over here at our radiuses, all these radiuses are pretty close to 0 except for 1102. So that tells me we have an issue with 1102. So what we want to do is close out of here. We'll go to this set. So 1102 would be, that's our 1105, 1101, 1102. So that's our position 2. So we can recall that measurement. Actually, it looks right. It's pretty close to 0. Can do is go to step 7. If we go to this F6, actually we must have, oh, we recalled it. So once you recall a measurement, we can't see that analysis screen ever again. Typically you could recall that screen, but we recall the measurement. So let's do this. Go back into here. I'm going to resend that. Coming here to that set, we'll go in the lasso function, Stone Industry plugin. So we might have copied this from our sync set. So if you remember, whatever radius we have in our minor radius in there, which for this set would be 1.2 inches. Yeah, so in here we need to have the negative number of whatever that is. So over here we should have a negative 1.2. We can go double check.
Wasn't that negative 0.4?
Yeah. So we can go check one of these other ones and make sure. This is our 3cm 80mm set. So we go look at the others, see we got negative 1.2. So we'll go back to that. Step 2. We'll change that to negative 1.2. Now what we need to do if we make a change like that is we need to remeasure that tool, because what it does is it's going to take the radius of that tool and it's going to take that, it's going to do the math on, you know, that radius that we have in there and the width that we have in alpha team. So we'll grab our position 2. All we need to do is remeasure it. Since that was the only tool that was messed up and we measured all the other tools, all we need to do is remeasure this one, and we can recall the measurements for the others, right? And then send that whole set over. But that was a good example of what you kind of want to look at in your data output screen before you send stuff over. Just look at those numbers and just make sure it kind of makes sense, right? All our radiuses should be pretty close since they're all the same. All our lengths should be pretty close. If there's one outlier that's way crazy, we want to look at it before we run it. Otherwise, if we would have run that, you know, our position 2 would have, again, it would have been like way too far in, or would have missed the part completely. So it's just another way to kind of double check.
What other common pieces are we looking for to catch? Just, I mean,
That's probably the biggest
how to
one.
solve those. Is there anything else to look at in solving the radius being off or the
No,
length
because
being
you're.
off? It's just lining that up again then. With one of those.
Yeah, but if you have an offset in there, if you have some weird offset in there, you won't necessarily see it on the analysis screen. Because see, when we measured everything yesterday, that analysis screen looked great. Everything looks great. We adjust everything right, but it's doing that math kind of on the back end with those values and changing our measurement here. So you can see with our eyes that that's pretty close. Make a little adjustment there, and then we'll double check. Got 8 thousandths, 11, 10, call that good. So now that we have a measurement for that, and we recalled everything else, we can resend. So this is the one we just sent. That's the last one. So this is the one that I want to delete that one because that's got that funky value in for our position 2. Now what I'll do is I'll data output to the screen again, and then we'll just come double check again. So now if we look, now all of our radiuses are pretty close to 0. Right, we've got 0 point something. All of our metals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all fairly close. 5 is about 3 millimeters off. And then both our polishes are 194. So we could look at, we've got position, let's see, that's position 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is a little different from the rest. So if we look at 4, so see what we have there?
Oh, spacer.
She's got a spacer in everything except 5. So that's okay. We've got right measurements in there, but we want it to make sense.
Yeah.
Like, why is 5 3 millimeters different from everything else? So we go look and we're like, okay, cool, that makes sense.
Okay.
Go ahead and run. So it doesn't. They don't necessarily all need to be the same, but it does have to make sense why it's a little off. That's the kind of the type of quick checks you want to do so that we don't crash stuff. As long as it makes sense, we're good. Yep. So let's actually see if I'll just get that on.